Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now August 9th of 2023, and there's a lot of things happening right now between Disney, Bob Iger, and of course the Disney higher-ups such as the board of directors, the executives, etc. And given that we have that earnings call happening later today around 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so just keep your eyes open for that. There's going to be a lot of things revealed today about what really happened with Disney for the Q3 overall statistics that will be presented to the general public. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you are new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into the subject, shall we? Now, we know that there's a lot of people associated or have been associated with Disney that really kind of tarnished the overall company. People out there like Brie Larson, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Lizzo, and let's not forget about, of course, Rachel ZEGLER and what she's been saying about Snow White 2024 and really putting it out there about how controversial this movie is really going to be. However, that brings us to Phoebe Waller-Bridge, as there's been a lot of developments surrounding her firing from Disney and why the story got even all the more intense behind closed doors between herself and, of course, the higher-ups over at Disney specifically. Now, for those of you that don't know, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, she did contribute to the script of Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny. Not that she put a pencil on paper, but she did bring a lot of her ideas that James Mangold that were accepted that led to the failure of Indiana Jones. And that's why that actually led her to getting fired and let go from multiple projects by Disney. However, the story gets even worse than that. Let's discuss. Now, with actress Phoebe Waller-Bridge having many issues about her recent firing from Disney, the story gets even more serious as a new development comes into play. One major aspect of this development has much to do with how not only did Disney fire her from 7 Disney-related projects, but that part of this roster actually had her involved in the upcoming live-action remake of Hercules as one of the main leads in the story, more on that later, that she was already attached to as Disney was actually preparing to announce her involvement in the Hercules film before her firing at the D23 event. In addition to this, she was also set up for 2 Alien Romulus sequels that were going to follow up with the new Alien movie by Disney dropping in 2024, which may very well connect to the ongoing rumors of her appearance next year in that Alien movie as an android called Rook. Other films also consisted of one in particular in which Phoebe Waller-Bridge was going to be introduced as a witch in what would be treated as an ensemble cast movie. As for her Hercules role, Phoebe Waller-Bridge was set to portray the well-known character Megara as one of the main characters in that film. This was Disney's big plan for the live-action remake. Now guys, let me stop here for one moment. This just goes to show you that Disney was so out of touch with the casting of Hercules well before they even announced this thing months ago. Now, given that they are in the process of canceling the Hunchback of Notre Dame live-action remake, we'll talk about that a little bit later. There's a lot of trouble with that film as we speak that was going to feature Josh Gad in there. There's a lot of other issues happening over at Disney too. We have everything happening with the lockdown and everything happening with all the live-action remakes being put on this deep pause so that they can rethink their strategy. There's a lot of board members, believe it or not, that want to double down or up the ante on the diversity and throwing in more agendas on all those live-action remakes. Now look, I think that Disney made the right call here. I'm not defending Disney or anything like that, but if anything, this was a good call on the board and Bob Iger to letting go of Phoebe Waller-Bridge from appearing in several Disney-related projects. And the fact that she was this close to making it to portray the role as Megara in live action in the Hercules adaptation, I think would have been disastrous. It really would not have fit the character, and it would have been one of the biggest box office failures surrounding Phoebe Waller-Bridge as an actress. Now, moving onwards here, this is where it gets even all the more involved because it goes beyond her just being an actress associated with Disney, alright? We already know that they were setting her up as becoming a co-writer on many projects, and we're going to dive into that right now. So, on top of that, Waller-Bridge was also going to take part in the live-action remake of Hunchback of Notre Dame as a co-writer, and was actually fired and laid off from that project before they actually had conversations about canceling that movie altogether, which is an ongoing development right now. Phoebe is described to have held many argumentative conversations with the Disney board for firing her from several projects due to the Indy 5 box office failure, since she played a large role in making that all fail with her contributions to the film's story and plot in general. Right now, Phoebe is focusing on remaking Tomb Raider for Amazon, and even helping with the upcoming James Bond the film's casting decision of who the new Bond is going to be. So here's the problem that I have with Phoebe Waller-Bridge also. The fact that she was going to be a co-writer for Hunchback would have also been disastrous. You can only imagine what she was going to do with that movie. Now, a surprising new development that we will be talking about later in the week is that Hunchback of Notre Dame is facing a lot of trouble. It's facing a full-on cancellation, scrapping it, and getting it off the current slate of the live-action remakes. And a lot of this has to do with the lockdown, but all of this also has to do with the fact that Disney is starting to rethink their strategy on how they want to approach these live-action remakes. They want to kind of just take it step by step now. They want to see how each movie performs in isolation before taking the next big step, while keeping just a few on the slate officially. So Hercules is still good. Right now, of course, we have the Scar spin-off film for The Lion King that's in very early development. And not just that, we have Moana, Lilo and Stitch, etc., etc. That's all up in the air still, but it's still in active development. So there's a lot of things going on with that. But Phoebe Waller-Bridge needed to go. I think that Bob Iger and the board made the right call. Look, Indiana Jones 5 had some of the worst scenes in that movie because of Waller-Bridge and her contributions to the story, to the plot, whatever have you. And if I were James Mangold, if I were the writer and the director, I would have said, no way are we going to do that. Put those ideas aside. I'm not doing that. I'm putting that into the story. But here's the big but. Kathleen Kennedy is the one that was orchestrating all of this. She was pressing this on Mangold to allow Phoebe Waller-Bridge's ideas to spill into that plot. And that's why this film just did not resonate with a lot of people. It's why Helena Shaw was at the forefront of this story, you know? So we know that that was a big box office failure that created a big ripple effect for Lucasfilm and the cancellation of several Star Wars TV shows and movies, and it's even deeply impacting Mandalorian Season 4 because of budgeting limitations now. There's been conversations on the table about turning it into a movie, not that it is, but there have been conversations about turning Mando 4 into a movie. But anyway, guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. No, from night to moon, we hear them moans again.